Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Following the historic Shanghai Cooperation Summit, one single announcement has already sent powerful ripples through the global energy market and geopolitical landscape. Russia and China have just taken a major step forward with the Power of Siberia 2 pipeline. This is a vast, very ambitious project that could redefine not just energy flows, but the very structure of global power. On the surface, sure, this is just a pipeline, but underneath, it is a symbol of a world in transition. The EU, since it is dependent on energy imports, has everything to lose. This long-discussed project is now backed by a legally binding memorandum between Moscow and Beijing. The Power of Siberia 2 will eventually deliver 50 billion cubic meters of natural gas every year from Russia's Arctic Yamal fields to China. Gas transit will be routed through Mongolia, which is a really important and a strategic move to increase engagement with Mongolia. And in addition to that, being a transit energy corridor yields great financial benefits. Once the gas pipeline is completed, it will become one of the most capital-intensive gas undertakings in modern history. So without a doubt, this is truly huge. But as we understand very well, this isn't just about energy flows. It's about who the world listens to, who writes the rules, and which alliances will reshape the decades ahead. At the heart of this deal is a powerful message. China and Russia are deepening their strategic partnership openly, unapologetically, and increasingly outside the influence of the West. In doing so, they are challenging a world order that is built on decades of Western economic dominance and military alliances. Russia's Gazprom CEO Alexei Miller's announcement came hours after the conclusion of this year's SCO summit, which is in and of itself was a global realignment in real time. By the way, I just published a detailed post about the SCO summit over on my Substack and on my Patreon, including about the Tianjin Declaration. Make sure that you follow me there, and I think you would be really interested to read more about the significance of this event. While key pricing details for the Power of Siberia 2 pipeline are still under negotiations, which is understandable at this point in time, what's significant is this: political negotiations are already done. The project has been given the green light at the highest level from the top leadership of Russia, China, and Mongolia. As Kirill Babayev, a Kremlin advisor on China policy, put it, the big deal is finally underway. Already, the original Power of Siberia pipeline, stretching over 3,000 kilometers from eastern Siberia to China, has reached nearly full capacity. With a 30-year, $400 billion agreement behind it, the pipeline currently delivers 38 billion cubic meters of gas every single year. Now, Gazprom says that they will soon increase it to 44 billion. But the real shift lies in what Power of Siberia 2 represents. It is a pivot away from the West and the firming up of an energy alliance that Western sanctions have failed to derail. They tried, and they clearly failed. It's not just about China getting more gas, getting more energy to make sure that it has enough resources to manufacture, and it's not about that. It's about energy independence from U.S. liquefied natural gas, LNG, and a strategic buffer against future Western leverage. For China, the world's largest energy consumer and manufacturer, this pipeline offers flexibility, it offers options, and most importantly, perhaps, it offers leverage in a world where energy is power. Beijing has already made its position very clear. Despite international sanctions, China continues to receive shipments from Russia's Arctic LNG 2 project. It has ignored Western pressure, and in doing so, it has effectively declared its willingness to continue forging its own path, sanctions or not. So in other words, China is a sovereign state, not a puppet. Western sanctions, both primary and secondary sanctions, attempted to cripple Russia's economy. But if we look at the numbers, we will see that the trade between Russia and China surged to $240 billion in 2023. And it continues to increase in a variety of areas energy, technology, manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and so on. China is now Russia's largest trading partner, top buyer of crude oil and pipeline gas, second largest buyer of coal, and third largest purchaser of Russian LNG. And while it does appear that the interdependence of these two countries increased over the past several years, it appears to serve their agenda very well at this point in time. I would say that the behind the numbers is a powerful political signal. It's the economic and energy bonds between Moscow and Beijing that are stronger than ever. And now they're becoming institutionalized. During Vladimir Putin's visit to China, 22 agreements were signed. These include a strategic cooperation pact between Gazprom, Russia's energy giant, and China National Petroleum Corporation. Details weren't disclosed at this point in time, and maybe they don't need to be. The symbolism is quite clear. The deepening energy alliance also arrives at a time when Russia is redefining its export strategy. After losing its dominant position in the European gas market due to EU and US sanctions, the Kremlin has pivoted east and certainly found a partner who is ready to engage. Orientation towards the east has definitely worked in Russia's favor, and it allowed to advance non-economic initiatives too, such as security initiatives and humanitarian initiatives, including cultural exchanges, which is typically seen as the foundation for broader ties between nations. For Putin and Xi, this partnership is also personal and I would say ideological. Both leaders reject the US historical dominance because it systematically seeks to cripple them, to cripple their economies, to destroy their countries, not cooperate with them. Both have called for a new multipolar world order, one not dictated by Washington or Brussels, and they've also expressed shared disdain for what they call Cold War mentalities and foreign meddling in domestic affairs. The US is still struggling with the idea that Russia is not the USSR, and that seems to be backfiring now. With that being said, Power of Siberia 2 is not just a pipeline, it is a statement. It says the East is rising, the West no longer holds a monopoly on global leadership nor on the flow of energy that fuels economies. It's also worth noting that while this deal strengthens energy ties, China isn't putting all eggs in one basket. Beijing continues to invest heavily in renewable energy, in nuclear power, and in diversified LNG sources. That's what makes this partnership so strategic and interesting. It's not about dependence, it's about options. For the West, this is a wake-up call. Sanctions were supposed to isolate Russia, but instead, they have accelerated a long-term trend, the emergence of an alternative economic and energy axis centered around China and Russia. It's Washington's worst nightmare, no doubt. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this new project and its significance. I would love to hear from you. Please show your support. It does go a long way. Give this video a thumbs up, consider sharing it, and subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on Substack and Patreon. Support my work. It will be very much appreciated. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Take care.